Welcome back to Real Life Reviews, and in this video we're going to take a quick look at the Topeak SmartGuage D2. And if you haven't quite sussed it, this is quite simply an air pressure gauge to tell you what you've got in your tyres. Now, this is a gauge that I've had for quite a while, and I've never intended doing a review on it. So why am I doing one? Well, I was just looking around Wiggle literally 2 days ago, and I happened to see this on the site, but noticed that its reviews, or the number of stars it had, wasn't great. And I couldn't work out why, because I really like this. So I looked at a few of them, and what was patently obvious was that pretty much all the reviews that were on 3 stars or 2 stars, the user either hadn't read the instructions or hadn't worked out quite how to use it properly. Because the criticisms, generally speaking, the criticisms really don't exist. So as much as anything, yes, this is a review, but it's also a bit of a how-to and how to use a pressure gauge. First off then, let's take a look at the buttons and switches that we have on this air pressure gauge. So a quick look at the features on this gauge. Well, the first thing to notice, these little arrows here, well, they indicate that the head swivels. So if I take hold of one end and the gauge itself, or the readout, you'll see that the whole thing twists around. That enables you to read at various angles, and that's one issue that came up on some of the reviews. People found it hard to read the gauge. Well, swivel, simple. Moving to the end, we have a little slider here. Currently, it's set on Presta, and all I do is from Presta, and you must make sure it's right on the end, slide it across, Schrader. This does both valves without any need to remove anything from the inside or add anything to the gauge, just by sliding and moving along. The next little yellow button down here, well, when we're on the valve, if we press that button, we release air. Middle button here, we have on off or reset, and if I press that, you may well have heard the beep, and it's come on. I've got it set on PSI. Underneath the on off or reset button is a button with 2 arrows. Pressing this button scrolls through the units, so we're on PSI, press it once, we go to bar, press it once more, and we go to kilograms per centimetre squared. Press it once more, and I'm back to PSI. And then finally, we have the button that a lot of people seem to not understand. It's labelled tune, and we use this button when we're on the valve, we're releasing air from this button, and the tune button enables us to take pretty much a live reading of pressure, so we can see what the pressure is going down to. If I press it, you'll notice the gauge starts flashing. That's in tune mode. I can release air in tune mode, and then I can press it again, and it will hold my reading just like it would in normal mode. I can take the gauge off and read the gauge. So let's take a little look at this in action in the normal way that I would just check the tyre pressure on my tyres. Well, the first thing to make a point of is that I'm going to line up, having undone my Presta valve, I'm going to line up the end of the valve with the actuator in the middle. If I do that, I can actually, and you'll hear air escaping because I've pumped this up to well over 100 so you can hear, I can push it pretty much all the way on without pressing in and releasing any air. So, on off button, and you'll hear the beep. There we go. I'm going to press it in, and then I'm going to, and you will hopefully have heard another beep there. No air came out whatsoever, just with careful application. You will hear a little bit when I take it off, the tiniest amount. And there we are, well, 100, okay? So it says something about my track pump probably. So I've measured that at 100 PSI. I'm now going to endeavour to show you how to release air from a tyre whilst reading the pressure. The first thing to check is that you're fully across, if you're using the Presta, on the Presta. That will enable the actuator to move inside. So I'm going to turn the unit on, and there I am, 0 bar. I'm going to line up push in, which it will do, and then press and hold. And there I am, look at that, I'm still on 100. That's reading 100. If I press the tune button, that 100 will flash, and I'll try and use my finger here. I can release air and the pressure changes. Just give it a moment to make sure it's stabilized. There we go, it's on 95. I'm going to use a different finger this time, that was quite hard. Just a little gentle, little bit, 93. It's at quite high pressure, so that's 2 psi that's gone out. There I am, take it off, job done. Pretty much the last thing to say about this gauge is the range that it reads. It reads up to 250 psi. That makes it good for your car, your motorbike, almost any other use that you might think of. One gauge suits all. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and a share. If you're contemplating buying this gauge, well, there's a link to Wiggle in the description down below, and if you use that link, then what you spend, a very small proportion of it comes back to the channel, which helps keep us going. Alternatively, you could pop along to our website just down there, and we've got other affiliate links there as well. If you haven't yet subscribed, well, click on the picture down there. And if you want to look at a couple of our how-to videos, well, related to this, we've got changing an inner tube up there, and we've also got how to align your saddle up there. Many thanks for watching.